This past week I was working with a student of mine and I was trying to get his follow-through motion to look how it should. And what normally works for me when working with other archers, telling them how to fix it, just wasn't working. And it took a little bit of discovery to figure out what the cause was and then how to fix it properly. And I'm going to share with you in this video how we did it. So this is something that's new to me, and I haven't really seen this in the past as far as a coach is concerned, or when I'm working with other archers, not necessarily as a coach, but as an archer. Usually, when you watch somebody follow through, you want to see a really nice, fluid, single motion through follow through. You don't want to see it in two parts. So what you really want to see when you're looking for a proper follow through is one solid, fluid, single motion. Just like so. You'll see one movement. There's not necessarily a segmented section between two different movements, and overall it looks relatively to be as just one continuous movement. Now what was happening was there was actually a two-part movement when the first movement off the string was different than the follow through. And the follow through is almost falsified and looked very, very awkward, something similar to this. Now, I can't mimic that exactly because it's not quite something that I'm used to or able to do so. I've shot so many arrows with the correct technique that I like to use, and it's just automated for me to make one continuous movement in the correct way. But what was happening in a nutshell was when the archer would cut loose with the string, the hand would move in a fashion that was just back almost straight off the face, not along the jawbone, and then there was a follow-through motion that was falsified, not really the true actual follow-through. Normally when I'm working with archers to fix that follow-through and to making it one nice fluid follow-through, I will have them think about the actual finished position to go to. Where is the actual finished follow-through position? And then once you're at full draw, you just think about, okay, what does that feel like? And hopefully your body just goes right to that finished position. It wasn't working in this case, and it actually had to do with how the tension was being built up in the earlier part of the shot, because it was actually building up in the incorrect manner. So what was actually happening was the archer was actually building up tension in the system, his body, outside of what would be more efficient. And because of that, there was no ability to get to the final follow-through position in one movement because all of that tension had to go somewhere, and that was that funny release to then be falsified to the finished position. Also, this particular archer was really struggling with thinking about that finished position, and it would take them out of their routine into how to properly execute the shot. So instead of leaving that alone and just changing the finished position, it totally derailed the shot itself. And I found that working on building the tension more correctly earlier in the shot was the way to fix it. So I'll show you how they were actually building tension in the shot and how it's different than I build tension in the shot, and then ultimately how we fixed it. So if you watch from this camera angle here, you'll watch the ratio of movement that is happening between my hand versus my shoulder on that last little bit that I am drawing, and pay attention to how much the shoulder moves compared to how much these fingers or this hand moves. And you'll see as I draw the bow back, my hand moves more to my face than the shoulder does around and behind me, and that was causing an incorrect buildup of tension in the shot. Once I got that archer to draw more with the shoulder and lead with building tension into the back, and with them it actually helped to imagine the scapula rotating around and behind them. I don't always advise that. Usually I advise away from thinking about particular bones of the body, and definitely advise against muscles, focusing on particular muscles because you can flex them and feel them more and not actually move correctly. But for this particular archer, focusing on the scapula worked for them to actually get the shoulder to move at least as much, if not more, than the hand. So if you watch again from this camera angle and you pay attention to the movement of the shoulder now versus the hand, you'll see that a lot of movement is actually happening as I draw. The shoulder moves around and behind me, it retracts that way, it goes in towards the spine, it goes various different directions, but if you just think about the actual shoulder moving compared to the hand. As I go to draw, again, you'll see the shoulder moves around and the hand just kind of follows, as opposed to the hand doing the primary movement and then the shoulder not actually moving. Now, this was causing the actual buildup of the tension incorrectly in the system and completely disallowing this archer from following through correctly. So what actually worked, and usually, like I said, I don't have to talk about building the tension up in the shot so much because typically as you start to draw correctly, or thinking about once you're at full draw, the tension correctly, it fixes itself at least enough to follow through correctly, so that way I can work on more other details within the shot that aren't necessarily so important. But in this particular case, it was really important to build the tension correctly first and then let the follow through happen. Again, normally I can get archers to think about making the follow through happen and then working on building the tension up correctly. It really just depends on the coach and on the archer, apparently, as to what way to actually approach it is best. And in this case, what I actually found and discovered and learned something new myself was building up tension earlier in the shot with a more correct way actually makes things a little bit easier to follow through correctly. Obviously, I knew that, but I couldn't get this archer to stop doing that two-part follow through without discussing first how to build up tension in the shot itself. So this was just a little quick, hey, I learned something and I wanted to share that with you. And if you're interested in more of these kinds of videos, please comment below and let me know. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell down below too. Genuinely, it helps this channel grow and you get notified when I upload new content. I'm doing all sorts of different types of videos, just trying to help make a good resource out there on YouTube for archery. Also, if you're interested in learning more about the technique I use, I'm going to recommend a book called Total Archery. It's written by my coach, Kaminski Lee, as well as an old teammate of mine, Tyler Benner. I will have links in the description below for that book on my website, as well as at Lancaster Archery Supply, and I will have links to all the gear that I am using here in this video, including this JT Traditional Archery Zeus stick bow here that I really love shooting. Hey, if you like this video, consider sharing it. Genuinely, that helps this channel grow. I don't operate any other social media, and I rely on you to help spread the word about the channel. I produce all this content for archers around the world to enjoy for free. I can't thank my supporters enough, and if you wouldn't mind, please do consider supporting this channel. There's many different links in the description below. Thanks again for watching.